What's going on, everybody? Today, I'm going to be talking about extroversion and introversion, outrospection and introspection. I'm going to be talking about gender, hormonal differences, societal aspects, and a little bit more in this video. So let's just hop right into it. So, in order to gain power as an individual and gain confidence and gain competence as an individual, you have to understand what type of perspective that you're coming from. Are you extroverted? Are you introverted? Are you more introspective? Are you more outrospective? And if you as a person come to realize and come to have a further consensus and conceptualization on these factors of your personality, then you will have a greater and easier time with a higher amount of fidelity to further understand yourself and further be able to navigate yourself. Introspection is closely tied with introversion, though it is not the same thing at all. Introspection is the ability to look within and seek answers and seek realization on why you do your actions, how you do your actions, and where they're coming from. It's good to be introspective, whereas introversion is kind of like a perverse way of introspection. It's caring what people think about you more than what you think about yourself. And a lot of the time, this allows you to get in the way of yourself and really have a hard time with communicating or socializing or getting work done or things like that. Just in summary, just being a productive human is really hard when you're very introverted because you need other people to build with you. You know, you need other people to socialize and you need a community and the civilization to pick you up and pick them up. And when you're very introverted, this is literally just harder for you to do in all accounts. And it is very true that society nowadays wants, especially men, to be more introverted and more in on themselves and more insecure because fundamentally it makes them less agile and less powerful, which is exactly what the enemy wants. The enemy wants you to be more submissive and more weak and less powerful and less principled. We have been told this lie that people are either born introverted or extroverted. It's actually really fundamentally down to your hormones and your spiritual health is what contributes to on whether or not you're introverted and extroverted. The way that extroversion works, so say you are an extroverted person, this is going to allow you to not think about what you said in the past, to not care about what people are thinking about you right now. You're just pushing and pushing and pushing along. And it's a very, very powerful state to be in. Personally, I was sick a few years ago and I was very, very insecure and introverted. And I could not stop thinking about what I said in the past, how I could have been better in a conversation. What are they thinking about me? But it really doesn't matter. And after years and years of having a healthy diet, healthy spiritual health, healthy, physical health, and pretty much just, trying to pursue those things, over time, your body is going to reward you. And over time, you're going to become more extroverted. Smoking weed, for example, and other like short-term dopaminergically activating hedonistic behaviors like smoking weed or like porn, like I said in the past video, it gives you a negative view on yourself. But on top of that, weed in general genuinely gives you a very introverted, introspective view to where it's actually difficult to socialize. You've probably been high and you've probably noticed like, oh my God, I can't even talk to these people without stumbling over myself because I care too much about what they think about me. So cutting out weed is really beneficial if you're trying to become more extroverted. There's also a pretty big topic about this in regards to sex, and by sex I mean gender. Gender isn't really an actual word. It's a new word. So every time that I say sex, that's what I'm referring to is male and female. There's a big argument and a big point and aspect about extroversion and introversion, which is females have a higher proclivity and inclination to be more introverted, which is healthy, which is good, and it really helps them, and it really helps other women that they hang around with, and it really helps the people that they encompass with, and it really helps the people that they inhabit their lives with. If you noticed, when women talk, they're often talking about things that have happened in their lives in the past week or past month, and they're able to relate to each other like that. Whereas men, archetypically, obviously, and especially back then before we had all these really harmful chemicals that are messing up our hormonal structures, men communicate with like actionables. The archetypical man never really converses with men talking about, past drama or past things that have happened with themselves, or past, conversations or things that are on their mind that are in the past. A lot of the time it is about, ideas and, what you do for work and what you do for fun. What are your hobbies? It's very like in the present and kind of future based as well because men are trying to extrapolate worth from one another, whereas women are trying to relate to one another and be compassionate with one another. And to be honest, men don't really care about that. And obviously, I'm not saying that in order to be a man, you have to be completely extroverted. That's not the case, whatever. For example, Jesus was a very feminine and a very masculine man. In fact, one of the reasons why he was so masculine is because he was very in touch with his feminine. So it's really just balancing, introversion and introspection, and outroversion and outrospection and extroversion. It's about balancing all of these. And it's really just a balanced structure within yourself. And it does take quite a bit to come to terms with and quite a bit to, self-actualize and self-realize. But over time, you will definitely be able to have more power to exert and more benefit to possess on others. Now, this is also related to the last subject, which was sex, but your actual hormonal structure, like I said in the beginning of the video, plays a pretty dramatic part. Let's take the chemical estrogen, for example. Estrogen is actually a very sympathetic and empathetic causing chemical in the brain and in the body and therefore in the spirit. Whereas testosterone is a very aggressive, very outrospective chemical. I mean this very metaphysically. What I'm saying is possibly hard to digest because we live in a society and the Western civilization that we live in, we're bombarded by a lot of hormonally disrupting aspects and figures, to the formula. For example, pesticides, GMOs. I can't say some other things, but, microplastics, for example, the modern secular, you know, computers and non-physical labor that everybody endures. The schooling systems are the majority online nowadays as well. Physical activity is deemed as less important now than really ever before. And on top of all of that, being a man and being masculine is deemed as innately toxic, which is obviously such a foolish argument. Masculinity within itself is not toxic. Femininity within itself is not toxic. What is toxic is the people. What is toxic is people's wrongfulness and wickedness and messiness. So now, us being humans, we're able to see a man being toxic and we're like, oh, toxic masculinity. Then we're able to attach that to an agenda and, therefore shun upon men that are exerting or trying to exert masculine qualities. So now something that you could do as a viewer and all of us could do is further understand what it means to be extroverted and introverted. And from there, we could realize how we are. Are we more extroverted? Are we more introverted? And then we could take aspects of these multiple things and then incorporate them and or try to incorporate them within ourselves to further balance ourselves, just like Jesus or somebody that was very in touch with both their femininity and masculinity. Because if you as a person are not in touch with your femininity as well as your masculinity, especially as a man, then it's just going to be a very hard world to live in. It's going to be very difficult for you, and you're going to likely be rather insecure. Femininity as a man is not a bad thing. Masculinity as a woman is not a bad thing. But what is a bad thing is not having them in a healthy moderation and not being authentic in the state that you are inhabiting. Anyway, I hope this video was somewhat helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to add upon the video or add upon these ideas. Just let me know in the comments and that'll be awesome. My socials are in the comments or in the description or whatever. Take a look if you want to. Have an awesome day, awesome existence, and I will see you in the next one. So I'm going to start doing online calls and like consultations with really anybody that wants to do that with me. Like literally if you want like just somebody to talk to or some particular life advice with, like literally any single thing, I'm going to be doing one free call to start it off with. And then if you deem any, extrapolated help or, profit or good works or any benefit at all from that free call, then we could, work out something, negotiate something, and go from there. I could just give you guys my phone number and or use some sort of social media to, connect with you guys. But Discord is obviously the best way to, communicate one on one without it being like possible for me to leak my number or anything like that. Because there are only so many topics and so many things that I could say in one video, and it's not very personal. So I think it would be a very cool idea to do like one or two free calls. And then if you seek any benefit or get any benefit from that, then maybe that would be, some financial incentive for, you and I to work together, or something like that. So let me know what you guys think about that, and I will be so down to do that stuff. I think it would be very fulfilling and very cool for both parties involved. And like I said, we could use any social media or any app that is convenient for you. And also, I seriously don't mind giving my phone number out. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't deem you guys as being very malicious. So yeah, the best way to get that going and get that started is just direct message me on Twitter. I will 100% see it, and that's the best way to, get it started and get it going. But anyway, thanks for watching the whole video. That really means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.